It was a cold winter night when I first took the job as a security guard at the old abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town. The pay was good and God knows I needed the money. My shift started at 10 p.m. and I had to patrol the hallways until sunrise. The hospital had been closed for years. Well, not that I believe in ghosts, but that place gave me the creeps. The first few nights were without incident. I walked through the empty halls, my flashlight casting long shadows on the peeling walls. I could hear the wind howling outside, making the broken windows rattle. I tried to ignore that eerie feeling of someone or something watching me. One night, at around 2 a.m., I was in the basement, the darkest and coldest part of the hospital. That is when I heard the faint whispering coming from one of the old operating rooms. My heart raced, but I told myself it was just the wind. As I approached the door, the whispering grew louder. I pushed the door open and shined my flashlight inside. The room was empty, but the whispering didn't stop. It seemed to be coming from the walls themselves. Well, I decided to check the records room upstairs, hoping to find something that would explain these strange noises. As I fumbled through the old files, I found a newspaper article about a fire outbreak that had killed several patients and staff in the hospital basement years ago. The article mentioned that some of the bodies were never recovered. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I spun around, but there was no one there. The footsteps continued, echoing through the hallway. I felt a cold hand brush against my neck and I started running. I could hear the whispers following me, growing louder and more merciless. Well, I quit the job the next day, leaving my uniform and flashlight at the front desk. I never went back and I never spoke about what happened to anyone. But sometimes late at night, I still hear those whispers, and I wonder if the spirit of the old hospital had followed me home. When I was a child, my grandmother gave me a beautiful ceramic doll. It had a lovely dress and a long flowing hair, and I adored it. I kept it on a shelf in my room where it watched over me as I slept, and everything was fine until I started hearing the whispers. Late at night, I would wake up to faint whispers. I couldn't make out the words, but it was definitely a voice. At first, I thought it was just my imagination or the wind, but the whispers continued every night, always coming from the direction of the doll. I told my parents, but they dismissed it as a child's overactive imagination. Well, one night I decided to record these whispers. I borrowed a tape recorder from my dad and set it up just before going to bed. And that night, the whispers were louder than ever. I lay there, frozen with fear, unable to move. The next morning, I played back the recording, and what I heard chilled me to the bone. The whispers were clear, and they were coming from the door. Come, play with me, with me, with me. I showed the recording to my parents, and their skepticism turned to horror. We got rid of the doll immediately, burying it deep in the woods. Many years later, I revisited my childhood home. I walked through the forest to the spot where we had buried the doll. The ground was disturbed and the grave was empty. The doll was gone. Come, play with me. To this day, I still hear those whispers in my dreams.